fault, this
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a long agenda tonight, so I'm just going to kind of move us along here. I don't have much of an activity report. Jean and I had a quasi meeting on our way over here, just as I drove her, because her car's stuck in the driveway.
It's in the garage.
We talked about how Ron's guys are going to have a fun night plowing. Other than that, I don't have anything. Reminder that the chamber banquet is it next weekend?
20th.
20th. Pre-sale tickets are due on the 10th. So I will be there, and I'm guessing a number of other council members will be as well. So that's all I have. Neil?
Well, I have 5 o'clock, we had Public Works meeting. No activity that we're going to take action, but we did discuss a few topics. One being the new bridge that'll be going in on Highway 55 on the west end, and the issue on the Lake Street Bridge where the street is sagging and need to rebuild the bank. That'll be about it.
All right. Megan?
I did not actually have anything the past few weeks.
Jean?
Nope, I didn't either.
All right. Paul?
I had an airport board meeting, and that's about it.
And on that note, we're bringing up one thing that's on our update. It's towards the end of our agenda, but since we have guests here, I'm going to bump it up after our consent agenda. We'll hear from the school on that request. So, all right, our department heads. Ron?
Okay, thank you. First of all, the Christmas tree drop-off is over at the fire hall. Next week, we will likely, providing weather permitting, we will start taking down some decorations. Our wellhead protection grant, remember residents, if you do have any abandoned or unused well, we do have funding for that. Our outdoor ice rink, if weather permitting now, that will be able to be flooded, and hopefully we can get sledding out there. Sledding hill will also now be open. Spring cleanup date now tentatively will be April the 27th. City Hall painting will likely be next week Monday. Holiday, so the majority of it will be taken care of that. Reminder to residents tonight, parking regulations will be enforced. Also, please clean up your sidewalks. And then just to elaborate a little bit further on what Neil had said about the Lake Avenue Riverbank, we did not, or were not successful obtaining that grant. The DNR thinks we should do a lot more over there, so we don't want to turn a $100,000 project into $1 million project and end up paying more. So it looks like at this point we are going to just be putting some riprap in there, getting the permits, and doing what we have to. So, thank you.
Thank you. Tarek?
The only thing I had was a liquor store employee interview, which is on the agenda this evening. That was it.
Anybody here for our open forum? Great. Move on then. We have our consent agenda, includes the minutes listed on page 1 for the various meetings, vouchers totaling $35,892.90. And that's it. I was expecting something on the update. There's nothing. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda unless somebody wants something pulled.
So moved.
Motion by Hertzberg. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Soini. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right, I said we'd go to new business, item X, the airport fuel request. We do have Superintendent Janelle Bowen along with teacher Mr. Whaler here to talk about it. While they get in place, I'll just introduce it. In the update is an email that I received from Randy Schaefer talking about an introductory program that the school has started and asking the city to help out with some reduced costs for fuel. And I'll turn over for details.
All right, well, thank you for getting us on the agenda short term. I know our target for this project is the 19th of January, and what we've been looking for is some support for the cost to give our students the opportunity to go up in multiple trips on an airplane. So they would leave the Paynesville airport, go to
SOC Center, switch co-pilots or students. That That student would fly to Bruton, land, rotate, and the third person would get to fly back to Painesville.
Okay. So in the past, this has been a much lighter experience where they've been able to maybe go up and come down, and it's been about a 20-minute trip.
Depending on the weather, yeah.
Yeah. So what we've really looked at is tapping into our airport here. We've had a couple of pilots who have approached us as a donation. They've donated their time, they've donated the use of their plane for our students. And so what we really are looking for is some support for the fuel cost. Originally, we were anticipating this to be about $800. We have revised that cost to $400 because the donations of the other airplanes and the flight instructors, they've donated their time to the program in the school. So we're really looking for either the cost of the fuel and even just to have the fuel purchased at cost versus if there's a markup to that fuel. That was our consideration and what we would like the council to discuss with us today.
I know in talking to Randy a little bit last week, he sort of described in more detail, Tim, the class that you do and the component there and how this field experience plays into that. And I thought that was just really fascinating. So can you talk about that and what we're doing here?
Well, in the past, so I've struggled for 20 years. I've had this class for roughly 20 years, and we've always wanted to get kids up in the air, and we never could get it. And then Tom Freed, a couple years ago, said, why don't you check out this Young Eagles program? Well, the only Young Eagles program nearby was Wilmer. So for the last few years, we've been going to Wilmer, and that's where I brought up the fries. And when you do a Young Eagles program, that's the same thing that they do at the day we have here in the summer. We have the air show. You can go up, you fly a loop, and you land. And so it's very short. Everybody, if they're in a smaller plane, do not get the chance to run the controls or feel the controls. This is going to alleviate all of that. So the plan is we'll put 3 kids in each flight. We have 27 kids if they all go. I think right now there's 2 that definitely aren't going to go. But there'll be 3 kids in a plane. We'll fly from Painesville to Sauk Center, land, rotate spots. Second student will fly from Sauk Center to Bruton, land. Third student will get in the co-pilot seat and then fly back to Painesville. So it's going to be, we're figuring an hour to an hour and a half with questions and things like that. It's like, I don't know any place else that gets this opportunity. Harlan Lusink had sent me a video of, I think it was Eden Prairie, one of the city schools, and they were so pumped because they got to go at the Flying Cloud and do it. Well, we're going to be doing much more than they do. So right now, the culmination of my class is they have to work through a simulator and they have to get through their private pilot. And if you've ever flown a flight simulator, it's almost harder than flying a plane. So it's like, this is our culmination activity, basically. And we've had quite a few kids become pilots in the last, I shouldn't say quite a few, but we've had a few within the last 5 years. So it's a program that's kind of, I feel like it's ready to take that step. So it's a chance of a lifetime. I mean,
Ready to take off. Yep.
yeah, there you go.
I can't help it. I have a 4 and a 5-year-old at home. I have to make dad jokes.
So I talked about this at the airport board meeting last week. We talked about it for quite a while. And to look at the success that the CNA program has had at the school, hoping that this will follow in its steps. And that's why I made the motion to, for the $800, but then Harlan approached me yesterday and said that they don't need quite that much.
Right.
So if this takes off, because the way Harlan explained it is that there was students from Annandale, Corey, and Albany coming here to do this, and if this can be a pilot program for the school, it'll also pull in a lot more interest, and that's why I was thinking this would be a great idea.
I agree with everything Paul said. I think the CNA program has been a success. The partnerships that the school has made with Lewis Industries and the other manufacturers in town at least appear to be a success from my perspective. So this, I think, is a great logical step forward, and if we can support it, I'm all there. Our fuel markup is 46 cents a gallon. I personally have no problem with us selling fuel to the school at cost. A strict $800 donation, I'm not necessarily opposed if that's what the council wants to do, but I'm a little concerned just because the airport does lose tens of thousands of dollars and costs the city that much money every year. But if the council believes that this is an appropriate expenditure, I can support it as well. But I have no problem selling fuel for a program like this at cost. I think that's phenomenal.
Well, it's been dropped to 400.
Right.
Yep.
Rob, how would that work? Because your pumps are set up for the 46 cents. We'd have to reimburse or,
We could possibly do it either way. I mean, it is, the QT pot is set up where we could put it in there if they'd have to have a special or their credit card number, and, you know, we could put that number in there. So it is possible to do it.
Probably easier just to give them the $400 for this year.
I'm just a little bit nervous about the donation issue. I don't know if it's a donation that you can make. That's a question that, it wasn't on the agenda, so I didn't look at it, but, you know, cities are kind of limited in things that they can donate money to. I don't know if you can donate money to a school district. Off the top of my head, I mean, I think if you want to approve a donation, I would say that it should be contingent upon at least looking at the question of whether you're legally authorized to make a donation to a school district. But I'm not saying it's not a great thing, but there's a lot of great things that the cities can't donate money to. And I am just, off the top of my head, I don't know the answer. I want to take a little look at that before we did it. But if you want to sell them fuel at cost, I don't know that that would raise the same issue in my mind. But an outright donation, I'm just a little concerned about that. Might be okay. I'm not saying it's not, but I just don't.
well, I think the original request here is to be able to purchase fuel at cost. So I'll make the motion that we do that.
All right, there's a motion by Hertzberg to authorize selling the school district fuel for this program at cost. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Thielen. Any further discussion? I will just add, I think that's my preferred method as well, not because, again, I fully support the program, but I think that this allows for additional private sector buy-in as well, which is going to be necessary, I think, for the longevity of the program.
Absolutely.
All right, anything else? Otherwise, I'll call the question. All those in favor of authorizing the sale of airport fuel to the school district at cost for this program indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for developing such a wonderful program.
It's fun.
I'll bet it is.
Thank you. All right, now we'll move back up into old business. Item A, the Small Business Development Center on page 3. Tark, can you give us a report?
Yeah, we initially set this up where the Small Business Development Center would come in here. They had asked us to use space, and they've been using council chambers on Friday. They seem to like the business hours. You know, they have been meeting with people. So when we initially set this up, we said we'll do it on a trial basis and see how it goes. And now I would recommend that we continue with this program here.
I would agree with that. I think it's an awesome thing to have. Do we have information about this on our website for local businesses to access?
Yeah, we do. There is an, information and a link to their site on our website.
Awesome. Okay. You need a discussion, otherwise I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to continue this, to allow the Small Business Development Center to hold business hours in City Hall Council Chambers on Fridays from 8:30 to 4 p.m. No charge.
All right, there's a motion by Sonia stated on the action sheet. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hertzberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Right. Old business B, the nuisance property at 899 Flanders. We were set for a public hearing, but I heard some mumbling that that's not feasible tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, so, I mean, and this is probably me, I don't know, but a letter was sent to them on the 14th that gave them 10 days to get it cleaned up, or we were gonna set a public hearing, and then, so there wasn't, and we gotta give 20 days notice of the public hearing, so there wasn't time So now at this point, I didn't send the notices out because we didn't talk about it at the last meeting. We probably should have, but we didn't. So at this point, I think we should set the public hearing for the first meeting in February, and I'll get the notices sent out to the property owner and to the bank.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so there's a recommendation to set a public hearing for our first meeting in February. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Soini, setting a public hearing on the property at 899 Flanders for our first council meeting in the month of February. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carries. Before we-
Would that hearing be, for purposes of giving the notice, would that be at 6:30 again, or what would we be?
I think so, yeah, or wherever else it neatly fits on the agenda if we have anything else scheduled. Before we move on from nuisance properties, Chief, I'm going to ask you so that there's a sort of a public discussion of what we said. A property on the southern part of town that's been at issue before or come to our attention. I understand you have a plan in mind for making sure that it doesn't become a future concern?
Have a plan? I don't know if I have a plan. I think we're gonna see, I believe the items are out there for decorative purposes for the holidays, so we're gonna give it a little bit here and make sure that they go away, and if not, then we will address it again.
Sounds good. And then what about the piano on Lake Avenue that's been there now for about 2.5 weeks?
I don't know if they've worked something out with West Central to pick that up or not, so.
I thought they would. West Central picks up big stuff every 2 weeks, and that's well come and gone, so.
We can reach out to them and see, I don't know.
Because with all the snow now, it's gonna be nearly impossible to get it out pretty quick. All right. Liquor store, hiring of a clerk, page 8 of our agenda. Where's Bill?
Bill's not here.
What the heck?
But Bill and I interviewed Ms. Herding, and we recommend hiring her for part-time liquor store clerk.
Right. So there's a recommendation to hire Cassandra Herding, as a part-time liquor store clerk, as stated on the action sheet. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brick, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hertzberg. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carries. All right. Do we want to have a retreat again this year, and if so, when? I was giving this some thought. My only thought is that if we do it, I might want to take a different approach to it where we're less structured and just more brainstorming. But I don't know if that would be more infuriating or more productive.
As long as you have topics, select the topics so we don't go all over the place.
I don't know.
That is the opposite of what he said.
That is the opposite of what I said.
Okay, I'm saying outline a few topics that want to be discussed, but then keep the discussion flowing,
Like-
not have a structure to it.
Future goals or improvements, whatever, staffing.
What everybody could bring a topic.
Maybe set up 45 minutes for open discussion.
4 to 5 hours.
Yeah. That'd be a start.
Bill, you look like you have a thought.
Well, I was just, when you do these retreats, you're not making decisions?
No.
Okay, so it's just to discuss policy, future stuff?
Right.
Gotcha.
Sort of long-term
Yep.
planning, things like that.
Okay.
How about everybody suggest topics and, one of us can compile them, and then that way, at least going into this meeting, we kind of know what some topics to discuss.
Still
I think there's probably a line between the structure and the free-for-all.
I think there is.
I think we could probably figure something out there.
in between.
Trying to find a middle ground.
I'm wondering if we should get a pegboard and a bunch of red twine and just have you
Yeah.
murder
Little
board things
signs
together.
I mean, I think that we could come up with a broad, if we want to discuss future goals and everybody
Well,
can
and
bring
it's-
their, something like that, I think would be a middle ground.
And department heads come too, right? And we'll have a new fire chief.
So they'll have their time to talk.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, tonight.
Yep.
I do, we had that meeting last year where we talked about our future goals. We should revisit those. What did we accomplish last year that we were going to accomplish last year?
Good question.
Where do we go from there? So do we want to do this, and if so, when? I think the dates at the end of March would probably be preferable.
I can't do the 28th,
Okay, so the 28th we will do.
historical. Oh, it would be during the day though, weren't we talking?
Yeah, probably would be during the day.
Well, it doesn't matter that much.
Unless you think we'd get more accomplished if we did it at like wine club.
Yeah.
Could go either way. Let me see.
Bill, if we're doing something like this where it's just a retreat and we're not making decisions and things, do we still have to meet in the city? Or could we do it out at like,
I think you still have to do it in the city, and you still have to do the public notice, because you're still, you're talking city business, so you
Yep.
gotta do those things, yeah.
I just didn't know if it was something where we could look at, you know, going out to Shady's or the Assembly Grounds or something like that, into one of their meeting rooms, but. Bugby.
We've done the assembly grounds in the past.
We did, but we found out we shouldn't have. We were supposed to stay in the city limits.
It was a little cramped at the Historical Society last year.
It was.
It was nice to go there, but yeah.
Well, if you're in the city limits, you got Queen Bee, Legion, Green Roof.
Yep. I like the idea of meeting at the Green Roof. They've got a projector set up that we can use if we want that.
School has facilities.
They do.
The only thing, Green Roof, you can't be in the main part during senior dining.
No, we were in the smaller room that one time.
Right, we could be in there if there's nothing scheduled. And they have a yoga class or something too, 3 days a week or,
Can we incorporate yoga into the retreat?
Very well.
Healthier lifestyle.
Go yoga.
I'm free on all of the dates.
We can just make,
It depends on what time,
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned.
February 29th isn't a real day anyway. I refuse to believe what the calendar tells me.
I can't anyway. We already scheduled our historical, it's always the last Thursday.
So, I don't know, let's say Wednesday the 27th from, what, 10 to 4?
Sure.
Try at the Green Roof Center if we can, and if not, we'll find somewhere else.
So you're looking at the small room at the Green Roof?
Probably.
And if we can't get in there, do you have a second spot?
Legion, I suppose.
I don't. I have no preference.
Okay.
Well, I guess it sounds like we have a consensus to set a special council meeting retreat for Wednesday, March 27th at the Green Roof Area Center or alternative location from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Is somebody wanting to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Hertzberg,
Second.
second by Soini. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
right,
Opposed? None. Motion carries. All right. Right, the last few years, we've done an all boards meeting. Question if we want to do it again?
I think so.
Yep, I think it works out well. Agree that we should shorten it by 30 minutes. I don't have a preference for date. It's all good.
Well, if we're doing the other on the 27th, we sure don't want 2 days in a row, do we?
Probably not.
That's the way I feel.
Let's do the 20th.
I will also make that motion, Wednesday, March 20th from 6 to 7:30 at the Legion.
All right, there's a motion by Hertzberg to hold the meeting on Wednesday, March 20th from 6 to 7:30. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Soini. Any further discussion?
Supper? Okay.
Question by Soini is whether it included dinner. I said I assumed it did. We've had in years past.
Yeah, we'll include it.
What was that?
I was gonna say, maybe we wanna start at 5:30,
Don't think we need to.
be done at 7.
Right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Motion carries.
Calendar here.
All right, library board, this one pains me. We set this as a large group. The group has struggled to make a quorum. As of right now, they meet on Thursdays. Looking at my calendar for 2024, I'm not going to be able to make Thursday meetings. I don't know if they're going to be able to or willing to move around their schedule. So I think in order to help them make quorum, it's probably best if I step down. And then Ms. Reed has a complicated work schedule where she's been unable to make a number of meetings as well. So it would be my recommendation that we reduce that board by 2 members, which would help them make a quorum so that they can keep moving forward and doing business. There have been a number of times where they get together to meet but then can't vote or do anything because of quorum issues.
And when we discussed timing, Thursday seemed to work best anyway, so I
It
don't know
did.
if we can change the date.
Right. Yeah, people were willing to do other things, but Thursday was the only day that seemed to work. I just have personal obligations now that my son's doing piano lessons, so I can't do Thursdays anymore. What's that?
There's a piano in Lake Avenue.
No, we have one.
So I was gonna say, when you said piano at Lake Avenue, I was like, is it yours?
Hey, I'm just waiting for it to end up in the river.
Sofa was yours, yeah.
So, no, I would be happy to continue to serve. I fully support the new library. If we want to appoint me maybe as a standby member in case Megan can't make a meeting or something like that, maybe that would be possible, alternate. But it's just going to cause quorum issues and I'm not going to be able to participate, so. This is something that we created by motion, which is why it's on here to amend by motion, rather than an ordinance resolution or something like that.
I'll make the motion to reduce the ad hoc library board membership from 8 to 6 members by removing 1 council member and Olivia Reed's position.
Yeah, there's a motion by Soini as stated on the action sheet. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None? Carries. Right. Annual approval of our 2024 conference attendance. We have a list of things on here that we generally go to. One thing of note, the mayor's conference hasn't happened for the last few years, so I'm guessing it's probably not going to happen again. Oh, I don't know. I'm just getting a sense.
Finally, it'll happen.
Maybe it'll finally
We'll
happen.
see. I hope so,
Okay.
but I don't know. So,
Stearns County Municipal League meeting is next Tuesday.
and we have paid our dues.
We did, because I gave the bill to Belinda. I said, bit tart.
You just have to chase up the other members now.
Yeah, well, the secretary did a pretty good job sending the invoice out with the agenda.
All right. So is there a motion to approve attendance at the events listed on the action sheet?
I'll make the motion as listed.
I'll second it.
Motion by Brick, seconded by Soini. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Right. Do we want to keep paying rent at the liquor store? Same amount for this year as we paid last year. I don't see any reason not to.
It's a good idea.
We don't want to be out on the street.
Yeah, probably not. Bill's worried about his inventory, probably not great to make him fire sale. Yeah.
It says this ends on June 30th,
Yeah.
so where are we at then?
We have to renegotiate.
A new agreement would have to be developed.
Yeah, and what we have done in the past, because we weren't sure about how long we're staying there.
So
have been short-term.
we're only getting 6
6
months.
months.
We should look maybe at a longer term instead of a 18-month or 2-year. That's my recommendation.
Make the motion to pay the 2024 liquor store lease in monthly installments of $1,828 plus $10 per month for sign from the liquor fund.
Right, we have a motion by Soini. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brick. In order to pay rent as stated on the action sheet per the lease agreement. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. Right. I'm skipping pages. Right, IRS mileage rate went up to 67 cents per mile. In the past, that's what we've honored. Would we like to do the same, or do we want to do something else?
That's what we've pretty much always done. Motion to approve the city mileage rate at 67 cents per mile effective January 1st through December 31st, 2024.
Okay, there's a motion by Soini, as stated on the action sheet. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Hertzberg. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right. Then looking at who gets the lovely job of sitting in the center chair when I can't be here. Jean's done that for the last few years. Jean, do you want to continue to serve, or should we ask for other volunteers?
No, I can do it one more year.
Anybody want to nominate or motion to appoint Jean, or otherwise nominate yourselves?
I'll make a motion to elect Gene Sonny as mayor pro tem.
There's a motion by Thielen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hertzberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carries. Right. So that helps with this next one, because now we don't have to change signature cards at the bank. So looking at a motion to approve Resolution 2024-01, designating depositories of funds, chief financial officer, and establishing the authority to act.
So moved.
Motion by Hertzberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carries. Right, board member appointments. I changed things up. Anybody unhappy?
I'm not unhappy, but I will be trying to get one of my new boards to meet in the morning like we do for EDAP because I like having breakfast at Hilltop. So, just so
I
everyone's
thought I was
aware.
helping you out with that one. I know you emailed and said it would be okay, but.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be good.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Gonna see if we can change the time of one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's nobody seeking to change, I would entertain a motion to approve the appointments.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Soini, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Thielen. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. Right. Okay. We have our full board member appointments listed here on item J.
We have a vacancy in the environmental board, huh?
We do. Would you like to serve?
We're asking you.
How do you feel about serving on the environmental board?
What's entailed?
It meets twice a year currently. Ron, you generally meet what, March and April? Purpose generally is to plan the
Spring cleanup.
Spring cleanup. So then you'd volunteer for that. I will tell you, I put myself on that board. I'm going to tell it to be more active because I think an environmental board needs to be. But we'll see how many heels are dug in and how much pushback I get on that.
We've been working towards that in the past few years, and I think that most people were pretty on board. It was just kind of lacking some cohesion about where to go with it. But I think there will be fewer heels dug in than you think.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, so then, if we're going to make a motion to appoint all of these individuals, plus, how do we spell your name?
Will, first name, last name is Beard, B-A-R-D-M-O-R-E.
Slower. He didn't get it.
Like Beard, B-E-A-R-D-M-O-R-E.
All right, so then, thank you, Will. With that, we'd be looking at a motion to approve the 2024 city board member appointments with the addition of Will Beardmore to the environmental board.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why are we not doing the property negotiation boards anymore?
Yes, so that,
It's gonna be a full council.
well, before I forget, can I give you this so that you can give it to Jen? Nothing changed. none of my stuff changed.
That's what I said. I put no change.
So right now, the Property Negotiations Board has existed. This was me, and thank you for calling it out, because it is something I wanted to discuss. My thought was that if we get rid of the Property Negotiation Board, things come straight through the council, so then the full council can be aware and take part in all of those discussions. It does mean more closed meetings and things like that, but I didn't know if that would be,
You should try.
in a way, more transparent of what's going on and what we're talking about.
Similar to how we progressed on the Washburn Court thing.
Right.
My worry would be, what we've done in the past with property negotiations with Neil and I and UTARC is that it's been during normal city hall hours. Whereas the people that we've been dealing with have been present during that time. I'm just wondering if it's just going to be as easy to come to the council meeting as it is having it during the dayside business hours. That's my only concern.
Right, and I think nothing would prevent Tarek from saying, hey, developer, come in and meet, and I want you to sit down with 2 council members.
Okay.
Because that doesn't create a quorum of the council or anything like that, but it does allow maybe for some greater flexibility so that things don't need to be posted and shared and whatnot.
Okay.
Because are we posting all of our property negotiations meetings now?
We have.
We are, yeah. So Tarek can still bring in other
Yeah.
people, but it also gives the flexibility of saying, oh, look, this is something that Paul's really involved in, or this is something that Megan's really good at, or Jean, bring in different people for different topics.
I can live with that.
We've done that for other things too.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
But thank you for bringing that up, because I did forget to talk about it. And it gets rid of a committee, which was kind of, I also wanted to take them to the chopping block.
Right.
Little French Revolution to our committee list. All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the 2024 city board member appointments, again with the addition of Will Beardmore to the environmental committee.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Sweeney, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Paul Thielen. All right, Kristen, so that you've got it, WILLBEARDMORE. On to page 26, appointing a data practices compliance official, page 24, excuse me. We've always done the city administrator before, do we want to keep doing that?
It's easiest.
I'm seeing a shrug that says, go for it.
Motion to approve resolution 2024-2, appointing data practices compliance officer.
Second.
Motion by Soini, seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, that passes. Great. All right, page 26, we have a list of various city assignments and appointments. Nothing has changed here, everything is staying the same. The only real new addition is the PFAS contamination attorney, which we've previously addressed. Any further discussion on this? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve 2024 city assignments and appointments as presented.
Motion by Herzberg, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sweeney. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carries. Okay, we have to change a couple of dates based on holidays, looking at setting them for the Tuesdays following. Is there a motion? Anybody got a conflict where we should talk about a different date?
Just on FYI, your meeting in December, your second meeting, will be that Monday, the 23rd. So if that is okay.
The,
No?
I don't meet in December. I don't care.
oh, it's fine.
Otherwise, it would be the 26th.
No.
No. Gene and I will be here. I have to run a projector. Gene has to run camera, so it's not like we're going anywhere.
It'll be a Sure.
We'll be at church. As long as we can scrounge up at least one other, we'll make it work.
So yeah, the 23rd is a Monday, the 24th, Christmas Eve is a Tuesday, Christmas Day is Wednesday.
Yeah,
Tis it is.
I think we leave it on the 23rd.
Yep.
So at this point, we'd be looking for a motion to reschedule meeting in May from Monday, May 27th to the 28th and November 11th to November 12th.
I'll move to reschedule those meetings.
The November 12th one would be the liquor board meeting. Oh.
Would be what?
Liquor board,
Those always get bumped.
they do.
Council over.
And we can
stuff,
always,
so-
yeah, reschedule that.
So with that then, Gene, is that a second?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, motion by Brick, seconded by Soini. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Right.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. Right. We might make those fire department elections, yeah. Looking at Resolution 2024-03 regarding CDs, savings, and money market accounts.
Motion to approve Resolution 2024-3 regarding certificate of deposit, savings accounts, and money market accounts.
Soini, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hertzberg. Any further discussion? None? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? None. Right. Going on, automated bank payments and wires. Again, more of the housekeeping annual things. Approving Resolution 2024-04.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Hertzberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carries. Right. On to something we don't do every year. I would be asking the council for permission to join the Association of Minnesota Emergency Managers in order to attend and participate in some of their trainings and materials and things like that. So it's not something we're budgeted for, but it's a pretty small amount of only $200 for the year.
I think it's money well spent.
I do too, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Importance of that office. I'll make the motion to authorize Mayor Sean Ranke as EM Director to join the Association of Minnesota Emergency Managers, amount of $200, funds to come from general fund.
Motion by Hertzberg. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Soini. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carries. Check signing authority and procedures, page 35. Resolution 2024-05. Again, keeping things the same since we did not have a change in the mayor pro tem.
I'll move to approve Resolution 2024-05 regarding check signing authority and procedures.
Motion by Brick. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hertzberg. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right. Chief and/or Tarek on the sergeant position.
I'll let the chief.
Thank you. So with the creation of the sergeant's position, at that meeting, it was set that we'd bring back a recommendation for the appointment to that position. It would be my recommendation that we appoint Officer Hokanson to the position. He's been with the department almost 5 years, I believe 5 years in April. During the last 5 years, he's shown really good leadership skills when it comes to working with and training in new hires. We've sent him to quite a few different trainings through the BCA and their leadership program and supervision. He's got 3 more scheduled here coming up so far this year. The goal would be to hopefully have him done with that program by the end of the year, but it'll be based on BCA's availability. So what we've got in here, got in the agenda is we've got the MOU from LELS, their union, creating the grade 10 scale for the sergeant's position, which is what I believe DDA pointed it at, as well as the motion for appointment of Officer Hokanson.
I'm going to ask a question so that we can have a public conversation about it, not because I necessarily disagree. But why was this not posted publicly so that we could use the creation of a sergeant position to entice more people to apply?
Because I think with the current direction of the department, what we have as a department have discussed, we are looking for what really is in the best interest of the city. That position will always be there. Having the position posted wasn't going to, in my opinion, necessarily bring in the right type of candidate. Plus, quite honestly, if we went out and we hired somebody outside of this department, we'd probably lose officers, and that would be counterproductive.
There's another reason too. I mean, you want to have, if you want to keep good people, you want to make sure that they have some advancement opportunities. So this is an advancement opportunity. And that goes with any city staff member. I think there should be advancement potential.
Again, I don't disagree. I just wanted to make sure that as a council, we're having that conversation. Because one of the things that we discussed when we made this was that we could use it as recruitment potential. And it struck me a little bit that we're not at least trying to recruit. Just doing this. I'm also, but I have no qualms with Officer Hawkinson. I think he's an appropriate candidate. I just wanted to have that conversation. The other thing I thought is, shouldn't this generally go through the Policies and Procedures Committee before coming straight to council?
So when it was discussed, I guess, with HR, it was, you know, we could appoint the position. Yeah. So I guess that was just kind of the direction, you know. I think we knew when we created the position that he was the most likely candidate for it.
Agreed.
I did sit down with him to just verify and you know, discuss with him his vision for what he saw with the position, and if there was anything that was abnormal within that, we probably would have went a different direction, but he understands his role, he knows what the position entails, and he understands what he's gonna need, so I guess maybe it should have, but I guess I thought most people on, you know, council realized that was probably the direction it would go.
I think it would still be useful for recruitment because younger, you know, new officers coming in will realize that it is a possibility. So, but yeah, I understand the question for sure, but I think since we're kind of focusing on retainment and as well as recruitment, I think that is probably a good idea.
So just, again, publicly, did we create a position to prevent losing someone?
I don't think we necessarily did.
Okay, so we're not creating a position for a person, we're creating a position for the department. I think that's a better way of phrasing it.
Correct.
Okay.
I've been trying to get this position for years.
So the description that you have, you can work with any officer who might apply in the future, not just Cody.
Correct, absolutely.
Any other discussion, otherwise a motion would be in order on this?
Make the motion to approve the MOU between the City of Painesville and the Law Enforcement Labor Services, number 489, creating grade PD 10 for the police department sergeant position.
There's a motion by Soini, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Thielen, any further discussion? None, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, carries. All right, now, as for Officer Hawkinson. Hawkinson, why do I always forget?
Hokinson.
Hawkinson.
Is it Hope?
Double A is pronounced O.
Oh,
Sure.
it's Norwegian.
I always pronounce it Hawkinson, but
He doesn't.
You said Hawkinson earlier tonight.
it depends on the day.
Okay.
Motion to approve the promotion of Officer Cody Hokinson to the position of sergeant effective January 8th, 2024, grade PD 10, step 6 of the LELS police contract, with the understanding that Officer Hokinson will complete the BCA's supervision and leadership course within the next 3 years.
I'll second.
Motion by Soini, seconded by Brick, as stated on the action sheet regarding the promotion of Officer Hokinson. All those in favor indicate by, or any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries. Congratulations, Sergeant. Right. On to closing the City Hall for the MDRA event,
September 20.
September 20th.
So moved.
Motion by Soini to close City Hall to attend the Minnesota Deputy Registrars Association. Is there a second?
Second.
You have 2 seconds.
Heard it from Rick. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right, reviewing the EDAP interest rate. I don't think Prime has moved since we sent this, has it?
Nope.
All right, I think we keep it the same then.
I agree.
Let's keep it the same.
All right, so we've reviewed. If we're not doing anything, I don't know that we need a motion. Anybody want to change it? Going once, going twice. On to the council per diems, page 48. Again, this is something that we said we'd discuss annually, but we did just review it. Don't know if we want to change anything.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
So again, no motion on that one?
No more.
Okay, going once, going twice. All right. Signing an agreement so that the county can access the criminal justice network. Because, of course, we need more paperwork for that. Paul, anything we need to know about this other than what we have in our agenda? Just that the BCA requires separate paperwork in order to let the county do what it's already doing?
Yes, red tape.
Okay.
Sounds normal.
Is there a motion to approve Resolution 24-20-06 with its title therein?
Yep, motion as printed.
Motion by Soini, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Carries. All right. We have our bylaws on here as part of an annual review, but I remind the council, I think it was just the last meeting these were approved, was it not? No, that was the ordinance change that was approved at the last meeting, not the
This was
bylaws.
amended on June 12th.
It was this year though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was
It was
last
amended on
year.
June 12th.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
We talked about just sort of keeping an eye on them every year, anything working well, anything not working well, that we might want to change for this year.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I'm good with that, and I'll leave it.
Okay.
Okay, then we have an annual bond review on our agenda. We should take a look at these. Tar, anything you want to tell us about?
What's on our update?
Our update, yep.
Yeah,
We continue to spend things, pay things down.
Yep, and 2027 is still the big year where we see a drop off. Well, obviously we've been paying on time, and last year, don't forget that we did, last year meaning 2020, we did pay off the bond.
We did, yep. I will say, as we were talking about our budget increase for last year, I forget what the ultimate number was, but we were a single digit. I stumbled on news a few weeks ago of a local city in Stearns County that was very proud of trimming down the budget so that they could get to only an 18% increase. And even though they have fewer people and fewer residents than we do, they passed a $2.1 million levy. So,
We have a bond.
we do have one that's callable.
Yep.
So in any event, I think we should be pretty darn proud of ourselves that we are where we are financially. Which one are you looking at?
This one, page 7.
All right.
Which one's that?
It's the Geo Improvement 2016.
Which phone number?
7 on the update, yep.
Fund 519.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Well, let's have Budget and Finance take a look at that.
because
See
that's
what we think.
callable in December. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm up for calling it in because it's 2%.
Right? Yeah, if it's only a
I'll keep it.
2% rate.
Yeah,
So-
that is a payment we don't have to make then.
But it's 2%.
On Fund 575, the final maturity date's wrong. Not to be too picky on this.
What
It
page?
says its final maturity date is August 20th, 1932.
Might be a little
Right.
wrong.
That could be right.
It could be right.
What do we know? Jessica hasn't failed us before.
Well, no, it looks,
That was a recent bump, it would be accurate.
Oh, no, 530.
It's on page 5 of the agenda,
oh,
of the update.
okay.
Okay, well, there's nothing for us to do, but I do think it would be worth a chance for Budget and Finance to take a look at that one that's callable and see if maybe we should do anything about that. I think the
That's
fact
right.
that it's only a 2% interest rate is something to keep in mind. But with that, we have our reports at the end. And hey, folks, we're adjourned.
So this is.
Yeah, I'm joint planning.
The Joint Planning Board.
We only met twice all year.